Honorable members, shall we pray? Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. Amen. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, let's turn our attention to item number 3 on today's order paper. That is formal communication by the Speaker. Honorable members, the 2022 budget and economic policy of government will be read in this House on Wednesday, the 17th of November, 2021. I take it again. The 2022 budget and economic policy of government will be read in this House on the 17th of November 2021 and not the 15th of November as some of us might have heard. Parliament is engaged in another equally important assignment on the 15th of November. And therefore, the budget, as I said, will be read here on the 17th of November 2021. I thank you for your attention. Let's now move to item number 4, correction of votes and proceedings and official report. We will begin with correction of votes and proceedings. We start with page 1. Page 2. Page number 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page number 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. And finally, page 13. Yes, Honorable Member for North Tongue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, page 13, consistent with what was done at page 12 when the Deputy Majority Leader moved the motion. He was described as the Deputy Majority Leader and leader of the ECOWAS delegation. So the seconder is also a member of the ECOWAS delegation. So if that can be inserted for a full and accurate picture.
Honorable, may you come up again?
Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that consistent with what was done for the mover of the motion, the Honorable Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Martin at page 12, the last paragraph. The seconder of the motion, Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bejua, is also a member of the ECOWAS delegation. So if that can be inserted, so we have a full and accurate picture.
Very well. Table, please. Honorable members, the votes and proceedings of the 9th sitting of the 3rd meeting of the first session held yesterday, Tuesday, 9th November 2021, as corrected, are adopted as a true record of proceedings. Honorable members, we have the official reports of the 9th July 2021, the 13th July 2021, as well as the 26th October 2021. Yes, Honorable Member.
Right, Honorable Speaker, on Order 48, and then...
Order what?
Order 48.
48.
And Article 102. And I read Article 102 first. A quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, shall be 1/3 of the members of Parliament. And then Order 48. 1. The presence of at least 1/3 of all members of Parliament beside the person presiding shall be necessary to constitute a quorum of the House. Mr. Speaker, currently, I believe we are far less than the 1/3 of the House, and we yourself cautioned us when we started sitting this week that we should all endeavor to be here on time. Mr. Speaker, it appears we are not ready, or government has not got enough business for us. So, Mr. Speaker, I request you to make a ruling on this, because I don't think we have the requisite numbers yeah.
Honourable Member, may you address yourself to Section 2 or Clause 2 of 48. I'm supposed to give myself some 10 minutes to reorganize the House.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for
So, Honourable, the majority and the minority whips, please, I don't know. So, meanwhile, before the 10 minutes, let me move on. So, we are collecting the votes and the official reports of the 9th of July 2021. Yes, Honourable Member for Northton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the second paragraph of column 083, the members of the...
Which one are you dealing with? Is it
9th July?
9 July, yes.
9 July. Second paragraph of column 083, the membership of the Sputnik V committee, the name of the Honorable Sheila Battels has not been captured accurately. So if it can be corrected accordingly, Mr. Speaker.
Well, table, please take note. Yes, Honourable, are you up again? Which one? Yeah,
Mr. Speaker, the 26th October 2021.
Before then, hold on.
Okay.
Honourable members, the official report as on the 9th of July 2021, as collected, is hereby adopted as true record of proceedings. The 13th July. Yes, Honourable Member for Sora.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, column 018, paragraph 3, the last sentence. Column 018, paragraph 3, the last sentence. It says that as I speak, when the rains fall for 30 minutes, the road cuts off. That sentence should be, the road will cut off at a village called Komfokse. The road will cut off, not the road cuts off.
Very well. So
and then, Mr. Speaker, again, column 020, the fourth paragraph. It reads, Mr. Speaker, I have noted the four weeks down, so I would follow up. It should be, I will follow up on the minister, not I will follow up the minister. I will follow up on the minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. So, honorable members, the official report as at 13th July 2021, as corrected, is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. We move to the 26th October report. Honorable Member for Northton.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, this correction is a very, very important one, Mr. Speaker. We should be the third page, leadership of Parliament. You have drawn our attention time without number that your name is Andrew Esiama Amwakun, not Andrew Amwakun Esiama, as has been captured here. So if the records could reflect what is the proper arrangement of your name. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much for addressing my own name. Yes, honorable members, the official report of 26th October 2021 as corrected is hereby adopted as the true records of proceedings. Honorable members, I would like to indulge you to allow me to suspend sitting for 1 hour. We will come back. Yes, honorable members, let me welcome you and thank you for indulging me. Yes, leadership. before we went on suspension, is it Honorable Abuja who raised the quorum issue? I hope you've withdrawn that. Have you withdrawn?
Honorable Speaker, you suspended the House when the clock was 7 minutes into the 10 minutes. So the next 3 minutes will be in your hand to make a decision on that.
Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, you see, nothing stops a member from raising a quorum. But what is our practice as a House? In situations where we have committee sittings, you know that when we are considering budget, all of us get busy. And it's committees that will not be sitting, that will be in the chamber doing plenary work. So I would only humbly draw the attention of my colleague Abuja to look at quorum in context. To look at quorum in context. You know, Bawa, you are a well-respected colleague member. I mean, this thing of shouting, it must, sometimes these things are unnecessary. Honorable Bawa. So, Mr. Speaker, I am saying that look at quorum in context. A House which is a master of its rules and acts in the interest of the nation, where we know that members can be unavoidably absent in the chamber, but will be carrying out parliamentary duty. This morning, for instance, the Committee of Defense and Interior members were at national security. Subsidiary legislation has been sitting. Finance has been having meetings. All I'm trying to say is that if we assume quorum to be suddenly arising, then we will be ambushing our own bona fides as members of parliament in this chamber. I am not saying as a matter of law you shouldn't raise it, but I would say that to the extent that there is nothing major for decision making, we cannot overly rely on it to obstruct our work. If, as it were, we were going to take a decision, pass a resolution, etc., etc., in those situations where it is evident that members are not preoccupied or are not occupied in doing some other parliamentary work, and that their absence are avoidable, then properly so-called, you can mount such an argument. So, my colleague, I am appealing to you. We have a budget coming up. We have sent some members of parliament to do some work for us. You remember we raised issues of statutory payments and all that. Members of parliament have lamented on that. Steps are being taken here and there to ensure that the pleasure of this House is well satisfied. So if we decide to be ambushing our own effort by saying that there is quorum, we have done a count, and 10 minutes, we should, and people have statements that have been programmed to be made. There are questions that the minister or the deputy minister is here to answer. and we want to say, well, we should be frustrating our own effort. Honorable Abuja, with the greatest respect to you, I will plead with you. To relook at this on the grounds canvassed by me. With respect to you, Mr. Speaker, thank you for your kind audience.
Yes, let him deal with Honorable Abuja, who raised the issue.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I thank my very good friend for the position he's advanced. Indeed, I am sure the framers of the 1992 Constitution took into account all the activities in Parliament before making the request in Article 102, and as we also put in Order 48. Mr. Speaker, my very good friend, the respected Deputy Leader of the House, is aware that it's this same House that made a rule that committee sittings take place after adjournment. So it's either we are saying committee sittings take place after adjournment or not. But currently, the rule is that committee sittings are supposed to take place after adjournment. We are putting all these things together. I want my colleague also to be aware that since Parliament resumed, we've never had quorum at the start, most of the time. Yet we continue to work in cooperation. But today, Mr. Speaker, the world is looking at this chamber. Mr. Speaker, you've been diligent to the House. You are almost always here on time. And I say that the only reason we don't start at 10 o'clock is when members are not ready. You, Mr. Speaker, have always been around. Sometimes I see you sit here and not even have a health break till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And I pity that level of this. So, Mr. Speaker, I rather will plead with my colleague for today, for the respect that the public wants Parliament to have. He should admit that, as of today, we have breached our own rules and the rules must apply. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, at the time you suspended the House, it was 7 minutes into the 10 minutes that is required. We are left with 3 minutes, which is already passed. Mr. Speaker, I will request humbly that the rule apply today in terms of quorum based on Article 102 and Order 48.
Mr. Speaker, with respect,
Yes.
not to further litigate, but my respected colleague Kwame Abuja made a submission, and I want that to be placed in proper context. Let me say, for the purpose of our records, that we are in control of our own jurisprudence as a House. We are in control of it. And that is why the often quoted cliche that we are the masters of our own rules have never been disputed. You are contending that we can only put committee sittings, schedule committee sittings after adjournment. And you say that is a rule. With respect, I disagree. It is not the case. And if you so suggest that because of that, parliamentary committee meetings that may be taking place outside of the chamber, and there are committee sittings. Look at this LGBT matter that Ghanaians want to hear of Parliament, and committees have scheduled to meet. Yesterday I had to authorize some budget for them. Though I didn't approve, I had to authorize and get it done. And they are meeting. And then you say that physically not seeing certain members in the chamber is wrong, and that we should rather wait for after 3 o'clock or any time soon thereafter that we adjourn. Kwame, Ghanaians know that in Parliament we work both at the plenary and at the committee level. Ghanaians know that. We don't only discharge our duty at the plenary. 98 years. No. So if it's about education, then let us tell our fellow Ghanaians that when we are few here, a considerable number of us are doing or perhaps they would even be outside of the jurisdiction as we speak. Majority leader, the minority leader, these two, they are our primus. They are unavoidably absent. Not on pleasure, but they are representing us. Do we now say that the mere absence of these two, coupled with other matters, other intervening matters, must lead to Parliament not working? I beg to disagree. Wouldn't be fair if we approach it that way. Shakespeare says in Macbeth, there is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. Kwame, is it the case? I don't know your mind. I don't know what is in there. But Kwame, I am unable to tell your mind's construction in your handsome face. Is there anything ulterior other than what you are doing? I don't know. Mr. Speaker, he must tell us. Because it doesn't appear that the application in its form is really aimed at ensuring the justice that you want. It is not the case. I can tell, but tell me, Kwame. Just tell me.
Yes. Before I come to you.
Mr. Speaker, you know, Honorable Ayerika, Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, we have agreed that we should listen to each other in silence. And I saw him drawing somebody's attention behind, that he should not obstruct me. You take your time, you have the rules. Let me finish. Mr. Speaker, let him finish. Let me finish so that you, Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding, if it is now his duty to be obstructing his leader, he wants to be obstructing his leader, I will yield to him. Let me listen to him, Mr. Speaker, and come back. Mr. Speaker, let me listen to him and come back. Mr. Speaker,
Leader,
I will listen to him and come back.
we suspended for 1 hour. So,
suspension was overtaken by event. Once there was suspension, yes, that's the next argument I'm coming to. To the extent that Mr. Speaker suspended the sitting, that's your application. Yes, I'm telling you. Check the rules. That application is not valid. Reapply. Mr. Speaker, he has to reapply because sitting was suspended. Because the rule guides us on what happens when quorum is raised. It has nothing to do with suspension. So your application has been overtaken by event. Mr. Speaker, that is the case. If you want us to go into the rules, we'll go through it.
well, I'm hear you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I think taking a cue from the Speaker, the Deputy Leader has advanced arguments that suggest that based on these rules, without he pointing to any specific rule, that your suspension of sittings terminated an issue of quorum that had been raised. So, Speaker, that quorum issue raised has not been withdrawn by the honorable member. He has emphasized that he hasn't withdrawn it. So, Speaker, as indicated by this side of the House, at the point when you suspended sitting, and we looked at the rules clearly, and we saw that under Rule 40, you have a right to suspend sitting at any time. At any time, you can suspend sitting. And so you duly exercise your powers to suspend sitting. But when we resume from sitting, the majority side should have worked hard to ensure that we have the proper numbers in the chambers. Mr. Speaker, during the suspension, they rang the bell continuously for 1 hour. 1 hour, and still ringing, Mr. Speaker. And we have not yet been able to mobilize 1/3 of the numbers. Mr. Speaker, there's argument about committee sittings. We don't know about any committee sittings. And even if there's a committee sitting and it is in this building, ringing the bell is an indication to the members of the committee that they are needed in the chamber. And therefore, they should have hastened to the chamber to be counted so that we can have a quorum to continue transacting business. Indeed, I will dare say that all the speeches that we have delivered actually interrupt the proceedings, because you are supposed to have started counting 10 minutes into the time, because the rules are very clear. The rules say 10 minutes. 10 minutes. But we have been arguing and debating for the past 30 minutes. Still, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure if you start counting now, you won't get 1/3. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that you have done everything humanly possible to assist. But in spite of your good efforts, the members are not there. So, Mr. Speaker, we will plead with you to go ahead and count. And if you count and we don't have the numbers, then we adjourn. See the way that we have treated our responsibility in this house, so that we can all sit up. On several occasions, we come to this house, we get into the chamber, we are supposed to start sitting at 10 o'clock. People come here, we start sitting at 12 o'clock. I am one of those who think that perhaps we should copy what I see in some ECOWAS countries where they sit late in the afternoon. When everybody has gone to transact their business, they are free, they are available, they come, and then the house starts sitting. But we choose to sit at 10 o'clock in the forenoon, and we don't come, and even at 1 o'clock, we still don't have a quorum. So, Mr. Speaker, I've also assisted enough. I've dragged this debate for a while, hoping that there will be a quorum, but there's still no quorum, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker can go ahead and count, and let's see whether we have a quorum to conduct business. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, can you do what is in our standing orders, that you count the numbers, and if we don't have 1/3, then we adjourn proceedings till tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Mr. Speaker, any further debate on this matter obstructs the work of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. By the standing orders, in 10 minutes, you should be counting. And it is past 1 hour, and Mr. Speaker has not yet counted. Mr. Speaker, you have helped enough. Let's have the counting take place, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, some of our colleagues coffee area now. Mr. Speaker, yes, Mr. Speaker, some of our colleagues are at the coffee area. I would want to invite Honorable Bauer to draw their attention to come in for us to proceed with the business of the House.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not
Their attention to be drawn. Their attention should be drawn to the fact that there is counting going on.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I saw you doing the counting yourself. And, well, that I suspect he counted. And the number is around 50 something to 60. Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure that the deputy leader is asking you to go outside and count members outside, because you said there are members seated outside. It's their duty to come in. Then the Speaker can count them. So, Mr. Speaker, we are in your hands. Now that you have confirmed that the number is not up to 1/10, which is 92, Mr. Speaker, you may go ahead and adjourn the House, so that tomorrow they can marshal their members very well. Go and bring them. As a quick. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, it is obvious, Mr. Speaker, it's obvious. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that some members are taking tea and others are having some lunch. If, Mr. Speaker, we want to encourage them to come into the chamber. Mr. Speaker, we want to... No, they are there.
They are all there.
Yes.
I just coming from there.
It's all right.
What are numbers?
Mr. Speaker, leadership would like to confer.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, leadership would like to confer. And Mr. Speaker, leadership would like to confer. If you give us some 15 minutes to confer, Mr. Speaker, and get back to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Leader, what is it?
Yes. Right Honourable Speaker, I think ordinarily we will be adjourning at 2 o'clock. It is almost 2 o'clock, Mr. Speaker. Just about 5 minutes to 2 o'clock. So ordinarily. Mr. Speaker, I think that your watch has a problem. It's not correct because it's past 2 o'clock. When you look at the clock of Parliament, it says that it's not yet 2 o'clock. It means that even our clock has a problem. Just as we are having problems with the quorum, our clock also has a problem. Right, Honourable Speaker. So ordinarily we should be adjourning. The House. And yet we are now struggling with quorum.
Speaker, I think we've heard one another well enough on this matter, and it's important for my colleague who just spoke, the Honourable Muhammad Yariga, to recognize that before he caught your attention to speak, Speaker, the Deputy Leader has sought your attention to engage our colleague on the other side, the Deputy Minority Leader. And as we speak, I am aware, fully informed, that some consultation going on for us to be able to resolve this matter once and for all. We have had tense moments before. Very tense moment where leadership has been able to resolve. We shouldn't allow this to get out of hand. So, Speaker, humbly, I want to seek and plead with your outfit, if you may, and you have done enough for us today. If you may, just grant us, in view of the fact that the two leaders are engaging with a view of resolving this matter, Speaker, if you may grant us additional 30 minutes for us to be able to resolve this matter. And it's important, colleagues, would you listen to me? It's important for us to recognize that in this House, we are masters of our own rules, and the interpretation of the standing orders is in the bosom of the Speaker. So let's accord the Speaker the needed recognition. And Speaker, I want to implore you to give us an extra 30 minutes so that the two leaders can resolve this matter once and for all. Speaker, I'm grateful, and I kindly employ your wisdom in this.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we okay.
Mike, your mic. Honorable Speaker, I believe that as representatives of the people, we must ensure that we strive to do what is right. We all know what is right. We know when proceedings are to commence, and we know what a quorum is, and we know that there is business to be conducted. We cannot, when we have failed to do what we must do, now try to hide under all kinds of gymnastics to, as it were, circumvent the rules. We all know what is right. And the lesson from today, which must be going into tomorrow and subsequently, is to ensure, or must lead to ensuring, that honorable colleagues come to the House and to conduct business. Based on that, Mr. Speaker, I rise under the authority given to members of Parliament under Order 41(1)(a) of our standing orders, which is express that at any time prior to 3 minutes before the stated time for concluding a sitting, a member may move for the adjournment of the House. Based on Order 41(1)(a), I respectfully ask, Mr. Speaker, that proceedings be adjourned to tomorrow. Hopefully, the majority side will put their house in order and ensure that there's a quorum for business tomorrow.
Yes, leader.
Well, Mr.
You're not part of
Speaker,
us. You're not part of Parliament.
the rules provide for any member. That is correct in form, but in substance, there is always leadership. In substance, there is always leadership. So that is why, when there is leadership, you can't have any member taking such a step. Give it a purposive interpretation. And Mr. Speaker, in any event, Mr. Speaker, we sought your leave as leadership, unless the whole essence of this application is to undermine leadership. I don't know. Unless Honorable Ablakwa's whole motive is to undermine leadership. We sought Mr. Speaker's leave. And we are back. Oblige us. So we announce our decision to Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we've conferred. And we have come to realize that it's past 2. And Mr. Speaker, if it is past 2, we either make an application to you to extend sitting, or we place ourselves entirely in your hands. We do not intend.
Come again, all hot.
We place ourselves entirely in your hands. Mr. Speaker, we have conferred and we've looked at the business for today. We have no hesitation at all in placing ourselves entirely in your hands so that we come tomorrow and do business. We thank you.
Yes, leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as said by the Deputy Majority Leader, it passed 2 o'clock, and for that matter, asking for extension of the House. The adjournment lies in your hands. We have agreed that we will come back tomorrow, where members, the whips will marshal the members to come tomorrow so that we can do the business tomorrow. So, Mr. Speaker, we are in your hands.
Honorable members, we cannot suspend the House again. It's past 2, so I'll go ahead to adjourn the House to tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Honorable members, I think this House is embarrassed. The cameras are on us. We deliberately suspended the House for 1 hour just to make sure you get the numbers. Yet, we couldn't make out the numbers. I've counted and counted and counted and counted. We still have not made the numbers. Please, let's advise ourselves. The House stands adjourned.